hapa Marel.
They are not saying.
Ni hapa total.
Unapoitisha tunabonyeza tu.
Changamka, semaji ukiwa wapi msikilizaji? Alafu vile kwenye jumbe fupi 23669 sema nasi. Changamka.
Unaongea ukweli? Wewe madikia ameonako mwanamke akichimba kaburi.
Na unapoitisha zaidi tunakuchangamsha.
Changamka na Westv, kipindi chako msikilizaji ambacho kinapiga vitu vyote ambavyo unavihitaji. Watu wakupenda rumba wanapenda rumba, watu wakupenda sukuzi wanaruka na sukuzi. Watu wangu ambao wanasema jamani, sisi watu wa Lingala tunapiga Lingala, alafu unajua tunazuru mataifa yote.
Malkia na Palinyang, Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa saa 10 alasiri hadi saa 1 jioni. Westv station ya Kikwetu.
Westv.
What is mathematics? When I was growing up, I had difficulties in solving mathematical problems. The vocabulary of mathematics is basically numbers and signs. Let me show you how. The mastery of mathematics revolves around this triangle, where at the top apex we have the tables. The tables work on the 10 numbers that we have in mathematics. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the only numbers that mathematics holds. And the tables are tables of multiplication, tables of addition, tables of subtraction and division. We have so many formula, and formula is like a key. Problems in mathematics, which if you don't have the formula, you cannot solve them. Such problems can be like finding areas of circles. And so without a formula, there are problems in maths that you can't do. Then when we come to the computing, that is where the blood life of mathematics is. Because there's no problem in mathematics that will be solved without either adding or subtracting or multiplying or dividing. One may wonder the difference between the tables and the computing science. They are interrelated. First, you must know the tables so that you can know how to compute a problem like, say, 98 times 92. Tables will help you to be an accurate computer. You must be perfect in the tables to be able to compute properly. Mathematics is logic and reason. Easy to play with numbers and signs. Join me, Dr. Omar Kundu, every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. to 10 a.m. Learn, master and enjoy mathematics on West TV.
Mumbo FM newenya hurekeresha kumwinda kwa kamani nende kimimilo kiewe fwe
nobano paranga bapando kusibana kuno bana po mwami balakulo rasa esaino buli munda lingenga kai
bukote bwabulindalo khukhwama mukholo chefwe
nakubona nandi kimima ky'omukhase kili mungubota ne khali mayi ulatakho kamaseyaya mumoni mwaniala wabona chizala chaka khucha kumwikhanga kuye kimoyo kuku mayi fukila soli we wakhola urgena kimyaka kyaki
namu yesike minile sanende bunama buli somo kamini sikati bunama akenda hata ni atejo kabao lakini yesiyo sina busa
alobona
ariri mama
bukulina bukulani busomi nende bukhangarani
senegandi shipindi kinene chokulo chomurecheresi shiyananga buyango bulayi sana khubasakhulu nende abandu beshikhaye okhubula saa 5 okhula saa 6 tumushitimi ndekesinja abantu ngale bakhoshire khumenya mutsinzu
noni kukane balakhobola nga mwenye bali miyeta okhasundaka keweta nakhubolela wenyikhana owulile
olobolo musori yingi nolingo ko akale aya nalika kwa hiyo muhano musiria kana abake abera mure none mugira ndalaba kenya khabibando lukosi bengangani ubo lo muhano bo lo musori marari kama fuanane
wala basura kama khora wakasura yani kaora mwelingalia abo basura yani bafshama chichwala bali akuma furalia ora webala konsele kumina
okhwihwera khwa mumbo
Mumbo FM Engo FA.
Kuweka lulwanda lukhaliwayo ta kama sikiza tuni yako, bonyeza *811 *95#. Bonyeza *811 *95#.
Revisha ushinde. Open and save in your KCB Gold Savings account and win 50k ya Vasha ama MMF haingoji. $500k can hit your MMF anytime. One bedroom apato ya 5.7 million can be yours. Revisha ushinde. KCB, for people, for better.
Westv, tazama ilivyo.
Good morning, dear viewer. You're welcome on the morning scoop here on Westv. It's just coming to 8 in the morning, and I'm so glad that you're joining us for the conversation which we're going to have on behalf of the entire team that makes this show a success, led by Kevin Kibet. This is CKS. Today we're not just going to read the headlines, we're going to interact with the newsmaker himself for the county. His Excellency Governor Ken Lusaka is going to talk to us about two things that, in my perspective, or in my thinking, they're conflicting. His legacy and his involvement in the 2027 Rotary election. And today we're going to look at a lot of other issues, mainly Lusaka's promise when he was coming in for the second term was dignity. We're going to interrogate that bit so that we can be able to just understand how dignified are we. The big question today, which I'm asking you, my viewer, is what is the state of Bungoma County? I'd like to sample a bit of your comments along with the governor in the show. So I'll be keen for you to just send me a comment or what you think is the state of Bungoma County. Using our social media accounts, Westv_Kenya on our X, or Mr. Kitui on my X account. You can always reach us on our Facebook page, Westv, and then Hwasimiti CKS. We are also on Instagram or on TikTok. This show is running live on our YouTube. Whenever you're on our social media, kindly leave a comment, share, subscribe, and follow the show. I just want to take this opportunity to invite you, Your Excellency. You're so welcome on the show.
Thank you so much.
Usually we begin with the proverb.
Right.
Our proverb today is the dog that follows every scent will not find a home.
That's interesting, yes. It's true. It will not find a home because you must get focused. If you follow everything, then you are likely to lose sight of exactly what you want to do or where you want to go. Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yes.
Let's begin like this. What is the state of Bungoma County?
I think the state of Bungoma County is so far so good. Remember when I came in for the second term, that is in 2022, there are a number of things that I wanted to put in place, and I think they are on course. One of the things was to try and fix infrastructure. Remember, during my first term, I had done what was famously known as Lusaka Road. But when I went, that bit was abandoned. So when I came in, I fixed that bit that passes through the morgue to the main road to the health center, to the hospital. Then I also fixed Mafanda, Mireri Road, which was full of potholes. Just making a small part, which we will do maybe before I complete to Mpeli, a primary school. Then, of course, we've done the Salmon Road, which passes through Senator Wetangula's residence. That's going to go all the way up to Sikata. It's the one, the other part is being done by the national government. Then, of course, we are also on course in terms of our side on the, remember I started the Naitiri Brigadier Road, which
which one or the right one?
We went there and prayed for the I took all pastors there. That's why the road is moving. Actually, very strange things were happening. You know, a grader would just burn, a lorry transporting what is it called, the AC would just overturn and burn. But now I'm happy to announce that we are now remaining with about 1.5 kilometers to get to the end. I was talking to the contractor yesterday and really pushing him so that at least by end of this month, God willing, we should be through up to River Nzoia. That's where our part ends. Then from Naitiri now coming all the way to Misihu, we have also had several discussions with even the Member of Parliament for Webuye East, Mheshimiwa Pepela, and the Director General, and even the Minister himself, Chirichiri, to see to fast track that bit because it's also quite terrible. We had a Chinese contractor who seemingly was very slow. So we have had, the government has had to terminate that contract and they are looking for an okay to get a new contractor to complete that bit. That will be a very big, it will be a big milestone in terms of transport from Misihu all the way to Brigadier. That was my dream. Of course, when I also came in, remember, even during my first term, what I'm trying to do this time is to build on what I started during my first term. And that is why I asked the people of Bungoma, because I had that break, and of course it disoriented a bit of what I had started in most of the sectors, because whoever took over now came with its own style of management. So remember we had in the agriculture sector, I focused on food security, targeting the vulnerable people. We were giving them subsidized inputs, actually free of charge. Last year we gave 21,900 farmers, households. This year we are actually preparing. We are just on the verge, because the rates are here, we are just on the verge of purchasing the fertilizers and maize seeds to give to the farmers. And then of course now CDP has also, that's the program in the Ministry of Agriculture. We have also done very well. Last year we were number 1 in the whole republic. This year we're number 3. Of course also 1 in circles. You go to the health sector again, I manage quite a number of health facilities have been upgraded. And of course our level 5 hospital, the 300-bed capacity, we have been able to equip it. We are also in the verge of equipping the one in Bumula and the one ongoing in Sirisia. When I came in, quite a number of health workers were also on contract. So I managed to confirm most of them, put them on P&P. We have also hired some on contract. Again, we have a budget. We're also going to confirm them on P&P. So we are also doing well. So we want also to decongest the referral hospital. Of course, we are all looking forward to the level 6 hospital in Sichei, which is on course. We just want to acquire slightly more land so that we are able to move on. That is going to be done by the national government, of course aided by the African Development Bank. In terms of water, we have also improved our water capacity. Remember the Koika Water Project Phase 2. When I came in, during my first period, we did Phase 1. Now Phase 2 is complete, which brought the water up to Kibabi. Remember Kibabi University had challenges of water, but now I think that we are good to go. They got water from the Phase 2. The entire community has no water. So Phase 2 is now addressing that area of water. It's actually at the university. Then we also signed a memorandum of understanding for Phase 3, which now brings the water from Kaptama, Kamukuywa, then goes to Tongareni up to Webuye East and Webuye West. That should be able to cover quite a lot in terms of water coverage. And then of course the other programs that are running. So I would generally say that we are not doing badly, and even in education, we just on the virtue of, remember, since I employed the 2,000 ECD teachers, and I was the first one in the Republic to employ ECD teachers and put them on P&P. Since that time, there has been no other recruitment. I'm happy to announce that in this budget, the supplementary budget, we have put money to recruit ECD teachers. A process, we didn't have a board. Now that we have a board in place, we're going to recruit more ECD teachers so that we can address the gaps that are there following the natural attrition and those who have maybe died or something like that. And then also equipping the ECDs and also vocational training. Remember that my successor and predecessor, Wangamati, focused more on a function that was actually for the national government. If you look at Schedule 4, what the county government should be focusing on are ECDs and vocational training. That's where now I'm trying to align. We still have a bit to cover in terms of equipping the ECDs and the vocational training. Some are not doing very well, so that's where we want to focus on. Then I also started a program called the UJI program, just to encourage the youngsters who are going to our ECDs to come to school. And since then, numbers have increased. The program we started on a pilot. It was like a pilot, but now since that it's doing very well. So once we get more money in the budget, we should be able. That's a program that I would want to leave also as a legacy to continue, especially.
When you say numbers have increased, what numbers are we talking about especially?
We're talking about over, let me see, over 500 in most of our institutions. I don't have the exact number here, but there's an increment in attendance of school. Yes.
Cash flow. What is the state of cash flow? You have grants, you have own source revenue.
Yes.
Then you have allocations.
Yes.
Do you have loans?
No, we have. So far, we don't have. We've not taken any loans.
Just give us a bit of the numbers in terms of where are we at, in terms of how much money has come to Bungoma and from when.
Of course, most of the money that we are getting is what we call the shareable revenue, which comes from the national government, the treasury. The allocation that comes. We are at about 14 billion, which comes per allocation. But also one thing that I want to clarify, because I've had people making very reckless statements, I think from an informed position, like we have had these billions coming and we are not seeing anything, happening. It's like some people imagine this money comes at once. The 14 billion or so comes at once. It comes in what we call disbursements. But every disbursement, for example, per month, and I want to thank the national government because right now we are almost up to date in terms of what they have disbursed to us. So normally it operates between 900 million and 1 billion. And when this money comes, we give like about 400 and something to the county assembly. Then we have salaries. Then we have statutory deductions, that's our pensions and, paying people like lab trusts and whatever. So once you deduct all this, you realize that now what goes to development remains something like about 100 million or 70. Now this has now to go to the other departments. And you see, when I came in also, what I did, which even during my first term, was to devolve the money, because devolution does not end at the Bungoma headquarters. So I devolved most of the money to the wards, what we call Community Empowerment Fund. So during my time, I had got up about 24. When I came in, this financial year, we're giving them up to about 26 million. This money is, ring-fenced for the wards, where I would expect that the member of county assembly plus the local leadership will sit and prioritize the projects they want. There are those who will put more money on roads. There are those who put on, say, agricultural input, agriculture. They're buying livestock. Some are buying chicks for farmers. So the people themselves agree, because we don't want to impose development on people. We want this. We don't know what they want. Yes. Yeah, we give them what is relevant to them. So that's what I've done, so that every ward can access the 26 million that we have taken there. This is the reason why I did that was that I don't want a situation where maybe I disagree with a member of county assembly on maybe in a funeral. Then because I use now my executive power to say, we are MCA as a party pesa, because we have disagreed. So they should be able to access the money. This is something akin to the CDF, so that they are able to access money and that's why you have seen a lot happening in the wards. And when they happen, you see, what I've done is, of course, the role of the MCA is oversight, representation, and legislation. What I have done is to let those smaller developments take place in the wards. Then I focus on flagship projects. So sometimes when people say, what has Lusaka done? I want to tell them today that when you see a road being graded in the ward, that's my work because I'm the executive through my people. But of course, there are also those who, and we do work jointly with sometimes with the MCA. When you see something happening in the ward, that is the work of the executive, and that is Lusaka that you are seeing in that particular ward. Then I also focus now on what we call the flagship projects. The flagship projects, for example, that are focused on now is Kandui, a modern bus. If you pass the bus park and is what market. Then there is Kamkuya market. If you go to Kamkuya market, you can see a very big market coming up. That's very significant. Then, of course, in Tongareni, there's the road that I've talked about. Then in Mount Elgon, we have the High Altitude Training Center, which I started way back during my first term, and it's the only public what can I say, public high training center in the whole country. The rest are private, like the Kaptagat. So there are those mega projects that we are doing, and then there are the smaller ones that we are doing. So the money that comes in, we have the grants mostly will come through, especially the greatest beneficiary will be the health sector through the programs that have been dealing with malaria and that. Then we have also what we call FLOCA, the climate change. Also been coming in through the Ministry of Water, Ministry of Agriculture. Like if you go to Namuninga Dam, Kapkara Dam, these are big dams that have come up through the funds that have come through NAV-CDP and what we're calling the grants that are coming. So I want my people to understand that when this money comes in, it doesn't come in one bag. Because I had one member of parliament from Sirisia saying, no, there's a lot of money that is not doing anything. So it doesn't just come in one tranche to be kept somewhere.
There's another element.
Yes.
How much?
Yeah, on source revenue we have had an improvement. I can't tell the exact figure now, but we have had an improvement. We've had challenges in terms of pilferage, it's called what? Pilferage, and then leakages. When people collect and they don't remit the amounts, then that gives us a bit of challenge. But we are trying to digitalize, to go digital, so that we minimize the human contact with money, especially from markets, from say the bus parks, the parkings and all that. So we have a revenue system that deals with that, and this is what we really want to minimize, that element of human beings, because we are all human beings. If you collect money and your child is at home and you are carrying money, you'd rather spend on your child than remit to whatever. But there's been a bit of improvement, but we still need to do more, because once we improve on source revenue. That's why we even bought motorcycles to also assist in revenue collection. Once we improve that, then whatever we can be able to use will also improve.
What is the capacity for Bungoma non-source revenue?
The capacity, we have the potential could go up to about 800 million, but we've been collecting about 400. That's 400 million, which still falls below. In fact, Bungoma has the potential to go up to about 1 billion, because we have a lot of potential in our markets, in our the population that we have. But because of those challenges, we have just been operating between 400 and 500 if we have really tried.
Where do we get the money? Most of the money from?
Most of the money comes from, the markets, the hospitals, especially those health and trade. That's where most of our money comes from.
You see, I've run a hospital myself.
Okay.
A small private hospital.
Yes. Where is that?
We had 100-bed capacity.
Good.
We never went past 40. The highest COVID occupancy was like 30 and something.
Yes.
And you know what we were making in a month? About 10, 12 million shillings.
Oh.
That is just a small hospital.
Yes.
This is a referral hospital with the cash flow it generates.
Yes.
And then we Buyewa, Nigeria.
Yes.
Why are we not making money from?
That's why we are now we are putting up what we call the health management system, which has been resisted by the practitioners there, but I'm still pushing, because you see, once we have a system, a health management system, I can be able to track what is going on in the hospital from wherever I am, even if I'm out of the country. But there's been a bit of sabotage, trying to do this, they say it's not working, because, you're trying to deal with cartels. You're trying to deal with a system. People have been benefiting from that kind of system.
My Excellency, let me push back on that, because
yes.
You are the governor of Bungoma.
Yes.
You are in charge of the county.
Yes.
Why do you allow the cartels to control things? Is it just an excuse for giving us?
No, it's not an excuse. That's why I'm telling you that I've dealt with it. We have fixed the health management system. Obviously, like I said, there will be resistance, and that resistance was there.
Okay.
But we are getting on top of it, because I've told them this must work. You see, when you are dealing with cartels, or when you are fighting with corruption, it also fights back. That's why I'm telling them that we're almost on top of the things where I'm able to know what is going on. As they pay, as the patients come in, you can even track the drugs wherever they are. So once that is fully operational in all health facilities, then I'm sure that the revenue will definitely increase.
Because if I was running a boy hospital, I could gladly make $1 billion in a month.
Yeah, we'll get there.
How do you think people who supply the county are feeling? How much do we have in the pending bills?
Pending bills is about 2 billion. We have had a bit of challenges. First and foremost, when we have this transition, when you are transitioning, the governments are transitioning, like now we're going to 2027, there is a tendency for the government of the day to try and do certain things in a hurry. Some of them are not authentic. So like when we came in, we had a challenge of verification of whether these projects really happened or not. Okay. And the pending bill was at about 3 point something. But when we formed a joint task force comprising of the executive and the National Assembly to verify these things, go to the field and establish whether these things really took place, we realized that the pending bill now came down to about 2 billion. Okay. We are addressing it because it's supposed to be a fast charge. So that is one of the biggest challenges, balancing between paying the pending bills and also now investing in new projects, because again, and if you're not careful, you can just end up paying pending bills for your predecessor and not doing anything for yourself. And then people will say, no, show us what you have done. But it's a challenge not only in Bungoma but in the entire country. The pending bills, the challenge, but we are trying to reduce it as much as we can.
Can you say for certain the state of people of Bungoma has improved since you took over in 2022?
Of course, it has improved. There's food security. If you went around, so last year we had a bumper harvest. The crop was very good. So in terms of food security, it has improved. In terms of health, I'm telling you that the health workers are a happier lot because they are working with certainty. We have also tried to improve on the drugs supply in hospitals. We have improved on the roads, but the rains again are interfering. When you have the roads just being graded or marred because of the constraints of the budget, again you realize that when rains come, like they are coming now, a lot of our roads will be in a lot of trouble. But we have generally tried to improve the lives of our people. Not everybody would be happy, but again, what I've also been telling people is that you don't just wait for the government to do for you something. Also, I always tell people, we escort somebody who is going somewhere. Also try on your part. Don't just wait and say, okay, the government is going to give me food, the government is going to do for me this. You must also on your own try to work hard. And that's what I was even telling people who are complaining about the bursary and scholarships. They were saying, oh, we came and removed the bursary, the scholarship, because again, we must move away from that dependency syndrome where, because you remember during our times in school, a parent would even take maize, would take firewood, which would be charged as school fees. But we're getting to a situation where a parent just stays and says, I'm waiting for bursary or I'm waiting for scholarship. First and foremost, you must remember that this is your child. Also make an effort so that the government can only subsidize, can only assist you to do something. So that's what we want to encourage our people. Like even we are telling them, we are giving them trade loans. If you're getting a trade loan, try to do some small business. Don't just wait for the government to do everything for you.
You see, the issue of the issue of scholarship and bursaries.
Yes.
I will have approached it differently. I keep on asking guests to come here, who advises governments? Because the things you do are sometimes not what any layman would do. Because now, in terms of bursaries, we know, in Bungoma, we know how many people are needy. What do we need to do with the needy people? We empower them.
Yes.
Over what period of time?
Yes.
Okay? So, trade loans, yes, but what mode of empowerment can we use? Because that there is need for bursaries and there is need for scholarships, not scholarships, bursaries, that there is need for that service from the county government or any government of the day means there is a lot of vulnerability in the community. What do we do about that? If you are the governor, the buck stops with you.
Yes, you see, that's why I'm talking of empowerment, that we want to empower people. We want our people to get from this dependency syndrome. That's why I was saying that when I came in, the whole narrative about my predecessor was scholarships and bursaries, where everybody was waiting, and it was abused. That's why when I came in, I formed a task force. People who are benefiting were not even vulnerable people. Some people were teachers, some were people who are working in the county government. So we missed the target. And then, again, bursary and scholarship is basically a national government function. So we deviated from our core function, which is TVETs, vocational training and ECDs, to scholarship and bursary. So that's why I was saying that we would rather empower people, or rather give trade loans where people you can do your own business and be able to educate your child. There's dignity in educating your own child. Yeah. There's dignity in addressing the poverty issues that our people. So that's why I encourage them go to farm, be serious in agriculture. Yeah. Don't keep one chicken or whatever. Even remember during my first term when I came, with my background having been a PS in the midst of livestock, I gave dairy animals to people, and I was happy when I visited some group and they said the animals you gave us, they were about 5, now we have about 45. So if you are serious and then you keep dairy animals, then you have strong cooperative society, for example, in Bumula, you can be able to produce yogurt, you can be able to do now what we call value addition to what is there. That is the approach that I'm looking at, empowerment of our people as opposed to dependency on bursary. And because once we empower people, even this money that we are spending on bursary will come down. You'll find eventually you may not even need it because everybody is able to educate their own children. Yeah.
Then we do it wrongly. Let me tell you why we do it wrongly.
Yes.
Let me take you back to the Tongarini road.
Yes.
That road is brilliant, but it's going to the wrong direction. I grew up in that area. People from Bakalo.
Yes.
All people from Bakalo, Tongarini, Naitiri, we do business with Kitale. We never thought of connecting us to Kitale. We thought of connecting us this way. So that's a very good road, but going in the wrong direction. So it has very little impact. So the empowerment you're doing, you're driving, is going to the wrong direction. That's it. You don't have the right public participation to get what people need for you to empower them.
No, but you see, you are right. All directions are okay. That's why now there's the Tarubo-Sihendu road, which the president launched the other day. That's going to connect even people from Naitiri all the way now to Kitale where you are going. So that's a national government road. And you see the mistake, what I will agree with you is sometimes when we embark on functions that are not ours, like when you look at the dual carriage, it was necessary but it was wrong. You can't put about 2 billion on a 6-kilometer road in town because it's a dual carriage, and that's a Kenha road. So we have eventually handed over back that road to the national government because that is where it belongs. Okay. So the Misihu, why I picked Misihu Brigadier Road, that is the only constituency that did not have a single tarmac road, and yet it's the breadbasket of Bungoma. So that was what informed my idea. Then I talked to the then deputy president, who is the current president, that you see, this might be too much for me, given the allocations I get. And that's why we ended into an agreement that the national government does Naitiri to Misihu, and I do Naitiri to Brigadier. And that's also now the shortest road, if you also want to go to Matunda and then go to Eldoret and go to Kitale.
Which is okay, but then you did dairy animals.
Yes.
You see, some of the people you gave dairy animals sold because their priority was not a dairy animal. And you've given, so the real need in the community is not addressed. You want to do something because it looks good, but it's not meeting the need of the people.
That's why my host, that's why I'm saying public participation is very important.
Yeah.
And that's why I have said that with the money that I'm giving to the wards, to the Community Empowerment Fund, I expect that there will be public participation. Where Wananchi, for example, in Mbakalu, where you've talked about, that Wananchi in Mbakalu will say, for us here, we want maybe we want more seedlings, we want to plant oranges, we want to do dairy animals, we want to do poultry farming. Let it come from Wananchi themselves and we just implement, as opposed to opposing. And by the way, that is why the essence of devolution was to get people participate in their own development. Let them say it, so that a bureaucrat in Nairobi is not just sitting there and saying, okay, take water to Kamkuya, yet what our priority in Kamkuya is a hospital, not water. It is.
What about the tax burden to the Bungoma community? How much are we taxing the people of Bungoma?
No, we are not taxing, like we have not changed. I think even we do not have our the financial bill we are using is what was there in 2023. So we have not increased any taxes so far. You remember when the financial bill, the national financial bill failed. Yeah. So we also, because of that mood that was generally in the country, we did not increase anything. But so I can say what was there in 2022, 2023 is still what is there. Okay, of course, nobody likes taxes. Even in the Bible, you know, when Jesus went and found people in the church trying to collect us, that's why he was crucified. So nobody likes taxes, but I cannot say that the tax burden is not overwhelming to Mwananchi. It is, but sometimes that's a necessary evil, because for us to be able to provide services, again, people must pay.
You see, the reason why we see it as an evil is this.
Yes.
I don't see where this money is going. Maybe a little communication from your side, telling people what, like for example, if you educated a child to school, and you gave your son or your daughter enough support, then got a degree. When she gets a job, it will be her joy to just appreciate you as a parent by giving, in fact, unprompted. When you go to some countries, people can pay taxes up to 50% of their income. Why? Because they see how the money from the government supported them through education, through healthcare and stuff like that.
Yeah, but no,
we don't see that.
No. Where do you live? You know, let me tell you, when you see the roads that we are talking about, you know, the tarmac road that we're talking about, the street lights, of course, now we have a bit of challenges because of power. The street lights that you are seeing, the water that we are seeing, you know, fixing in these particular areas. These are the taxes. Where does this money come from? It's the taxes that you pay. So you must, you can see them through the projects that are coming.
We don't see that. We see politics in the projects.
No. Of course, you know, politics is a big challenge in this country, where people are politicking from immediately you vote, the next day you start thinking about, like, wait, you'll see, after 2027, people will now already be talking about 2032.
You guys have already said that 2032 something is happening, so we'll definitely be looking at that.
Yeah, we'll be looking at that. So the politics is there, but again, those who are serious can be able to see some of the things that are happening in the rural areas, either the roads, the health facilities, the water, and all that. That is all the taxes that we pay. You can see them. But it's very easy for anybody to say, you know, there's nothing that has. You know, sometimes I look at people and wonder. Somebody is even standing, you know, at night. He's reading, he has his phone, checking a message at a floodlight that I've put as a governor. Then he says Lusaka has not done anything. That is expected. You know, even somebody drove on that Naitiri road, went to a funeral in Apo Naitiri. Then he's saying, you know, this government, the county government, Lusaka has not done anything. So you ask him, how did you arrive here? That road you are driving on was built by who? So, but that is expected of our people.
Interesting. You see, the unfinished projects that have been, they're taking a little longer. Yeah. Of course, the Navaholo road.
Yes.
That is another bewitched road.
No, it's now on.
Yeah, it's on, but it's on because we see politics in it.
No, you don't see politics. You see, of course, now I can see we are already getting into the national politics. We are getting there. You see, when the President Ruto took over, and also us when we took over, we had come from a very difficult economic period. COVID had been there, so the economy was was not doing very well, strained. So to get back to fix the economy and, you know, get things working took a bit of time, and that's why you realize that Most of the roads had stalled, most of the things were not working, the contractors had gone away because they had not been paid. Partly even why Brigadier has taken a bit of longer, even my side, is because of the payments. You know, the contractor also wants to check in the budget and see whether money has been voted for that road before they go back. So, but as we speak now, things are now beginning to, you can see the Sangalo and Navaholo Road, you know, the contractors on site from both sides. The Taarifa Road, you know, is now there. The one that was in Malava. Whether you see politics in it, but at least a road is being done. Whether it's political or not, a road is being done. So a lot of these things are now beginning to happen.
Let me surprise you. I'm going to mention some roads, and please be patient with me. Kisumu Kitale Road.
The main road.
The main road. It took a very short time to be completed. Then it was very hard to finish, to connect Kapsokwan to Kimilili, because it can't be finished. It's very hard to complete Sikata Kimilili Road. We don't know what goes on with those people who do the planning, of whom we are aware. It takes ages, like now, almost over 10 years, the Nigeria Road.
Yes.
Because you started in the first term.
Yes.
And this is the second term, and it's like halfway not done. The Navajola Road is another story. Then this Buyof Road.
Yes, Musikoma,
Yes.
Mungati, Buyof Road. Yes.
Yes.
I also started during my first term.
Yes. So you can look at that, and whether you like it or not, you have to agree with me that we see politics, not deliverables.
You know, there have been challenges, just like I've told, but happily enough is that Kapsokwan, the Maeni Kapsokwan Road, the tender has been awarded. I think they're going to work on it. So there are a lot of these things that are beginning to happen now. Just like I said, the President Ruto has been there only for 3 years. And like I said, there's been a bit of challenging, but I agree with you that some of them have taken slightly longer. The Msikata, the Bokoli Road, the contractors on site, something is happening. So there's a lot of these things that you are going to see happen. Even the housing, you know, the affordable housing, all these other programs. You now see it by June, you will see a lot of difference. You'll see a lot of change.
That's okay.
Right.
So my question is,
yes.
Does it mean that you elected officials are very powerless when it comes to the cartels that control this place?
No, it's not, we're not powerless. All these things are controlled by the budget. What I want to challenge, for example, our elected leaders, especially members of parliament who sit, say, in the budget committee. Because sometimes the mistake has been, you come and make a pronouncement on something that's not in the budget. So it becomes a political statement, but when you go on the ground, you cannot implement because there's no money in the budget. So what I want to encourage my colleagues, the members of parliament, we have, I think, Chikati who sits on the budget and the others from Western, to ensure that maybe money is provided for some of these projects in the budget. And also we have our speaker who finally signs the entire budget. So once we have money in the budget, we can then talk about these things. And you know, to fight to ensure that at least we have our projects are also appropriated. There's money there so that we are able to fight and get our projects completed. But I want to thank the speaker because I can see there's been a lot of improvement in terms of beefing up the funds that are coming to the budget to our projects in Western Kenya. Right.
Your Excellency, I would like us to look at Bungoma. See, Bungoma is strategic. From the 50s, Bungoma was designed for big things, but political influence took away those privileges from Bungoma. Now, we have the ability as a county to determine our own direction, but we've been playing with resources in our community. This main road from Malaba, from Eldoret to Malaba, it's not been very helpful to the administration. Why is it that? Why are we not capitalizing on it?
We are, but you see, Bungoma is growing also very fast. The population is also growing very fast. And that's why now the priority, and now that you have brought that, the idea of the Rironi Mau Summit Road, Malaba, the dual-link, that is really going to be the game changer. And like I said, if it happens, and I've seen it has started happening, you'll see a big difference. Because you see now, the problem we're having now are trailers. That, you know, from immediately you get to Kimwanga, you run into trailers all the way up to Malava. And that has really caused a big inconvenience. So that dualing would really help us. And I agree that we need to leverage on Lusaka also, because Lusaka is another entry point.
Which is very narrow road.
Which is very narrow road. And also the business that are going there mostly are still very informal. We really need to formalize the business there. And we have had meetings between the national government and ourselves to formalize Lusaka. Lusaka can be a very good point, and you can make a lot of revenue from there. And then Malava, we also decongest a bit of Malava. So I agree with you that there are all those challenges. We have not exploited this road because it's a very strategic road. And that is why, like you are saying, when they build but of course that administration then, in the Kibaki administration build, the dual carriage to Thika going to nowhere, not very productive, as opposed to this one coming all the way to Uganda and then DRC. So that dualing is going to be a game changer. And again, that's why I'm saying that, you can see that the president's focus also this way is quite critical for us.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are the most jobs in Bungoma today? Most jobs.
Jobs.
Where are we getting our workers mostly in the county?
Most of our workers are just from within the county.
What are they doing?
But again,
departments, which areas?
The Department of Agriculture, Health is the greatest employer, Health and Agriculture. But again, employment has become a big challenge. So we need to encourage, instead of the youths getting, and that's why we want to focus and build the capacity of our TVETs, because white-collar jobs are now not there. So instead of the youth becoming looking for jobs, they should be create jobs. And that's why even when we're putting up the industrial park in Sangalo, that's going to be a value addition center, an aggregation center. Our youths will go there and they can be able to do what we call add value addition to the agricultural products that are produced in this particular area. Yeah. But then also the cottage industries, of course, if we're encouraging the cottage industry so that instead of having most of the products go raw, we can add value. And I was happy I went to Bumole, like I told you, I saw some women groups that are doing yogurt. We want to see tomato sauce, instead of just tomatoes, we add value and have tomato sauce. So the way to go is going to be the TVETs, where you get these people with skills, train them so they can come to create jobs instead of looking for jobs.
When we talk about development in Bungoma, you talked earlier on when you were talking about the cash flow or the money that comes in. Usually after expenditure, very little will go to the development.
Yeah.
But what is it we can look at to say that this is your legacy in terms of development?
In terms of development, I've told you, one, because infrastructure is very important, and I still want to go back. That once we complete that road, that Miseho, Brigadier, that will be a legacy project. Once we complete the modern bus park that I'm putting up at Kandui here, which is going to decongest town. In fact, I had somebody complaining that now the town is coming this way instead of going. But the town must expand on both sides. Yeah. Once that is done and all vehicles get inside there, people get stalls to do business, that's going to be a legacy project. Yeah. If you go to Kamkuya, there is that project, the market project that's going there. We also have a project in Bumola by REREC, which is a funding between the county government and national government, putting up an energy center at Lunakwe. That's also going to be a legacy project. We're talking about the youths in, the athletes in Mount Elgon. Phase 1 of the Chemoge High Altitude Center is finished. They are now putting up hostels. We want to do a track. That's also going to be a legacy. The Kandui Masinde Modero Stadium. Of course, we started it. I started when I was there. Wangamati came. I have now come to this my second term to complete it. The canopy is being completed. The main dais, we did it as phase 1. We have asked the national government to support us in doing the pitch, because the pitch is still not up to standard. Again, that is going to tap into the talents of our youth, and many other things that are there that may not be seen now, but at least those are the ones that I can mention, because again, if you do everything, then the governor that will come will not have anything to do.
No, we need to do everything. The idea is, when you talk about cottage, you see the industrial.
Yes.
You see, that should have been the biggest employer.
Yes.
But as we stand today, the county government is the biggest employer.
Yes, true.
And that is another element where we were talking about lack of environment that people form.
You see, we want to have that, that's a very important conversation, that we want the leaders to buy in, members of the county assembly, because again, sometimes when it comes to budgeting, of course the executive does the budgeting, but again when it goes to the assembly, they also do certain adjustments. And sometimes the focus will be on smaller projects in the wards that people can also see, that also give the member of the county assembly some mileage. But I think as we go forward, because you see, the evolution is still growing. This is just the third generation. I'm sure that by the time we get to the fourth and fifth, the governors that will come then will still have to have a conversation, so that then we are able to agree. We have done these small things now. Can we do bigger things even in the sub-county? Okay. Let's have a bigger thing in, say, Sirisia, a big thing, a flagship in Webuye East, a flagship in Webuye West. But right now, the conversation, they still pull and push. Okay. What do we do? We want to do this. When someone wants to do, say, water, protect the springs, the water springs, then you are saying, okay, maybe instead of protecting the water springs, we can have water, even use this water for irrigation. You can do piped water. Yes. Eventually, that will be the ultimate, decision that needs to be made.
Well, the Japanese came up with something interesting among themselves. It's called OVOP. Mm-hmm. One village, one product. Nairobi University did research on it and thought that it's very viable for the Kenyan setting. We have trade institutions, both vocationals and those we call what, the village polytechnics that are now
they're upgraded too.
Yes. Then to the polytechnics that we have.
Yes.
My uneducated thinking looks like them and saying that these are industries which they're supposed to be developing, and they are on every ward. Yes. Why don't we find partnerships? Yeah. Or it's the theater conversation you guys can make to advance things to do with developing products from the county for the county. For example, the lower side of Bungoma can be the market for the upper side of Bungoma. So that each village supplements the other village for what they can be able to produce. Because I'm saying that to say this, that we tend to look at what we have here as not what we want. It's not very desirable.
Actually, you are right. And last time when we were celebrating, this day was celebrating, I can't remember what it was, and we were giving tools to our TVETs. Then we realized that the biggest observation I got there was that, why were we buying these things when we can actually fabricate them in the same TVETs that we are giving? And that was a great challenge, and I did give a direction that in future, for example, why would we be buying desks? Why would we be buying certain things that can be actually done in Sirisia Polytechnic, for example, Sirisia TVET, or even fabricating things that we can do. So instead of going to buy from Nairobi or somewhere else, these things can be made here, and that money can just circulate within the county. Okay. So that's a direction that we gave, and that's the direction we are taking.
Okay. Before we go to the national campaign, let's talk about the resources in the county. I've been one of the guys who have been criticizing you about selling everything. Okay, it's not everything yet, but the first time you did presided over the sale of pulp paper.
I'll explain this.
Yes. Then later on, in the second term, our airport is gone. And the Zoya is gone.
It's good. That's a very good conversation.
What else is gone? Is Babanga gone also? What else?
Now let me put the record straight. And I think information is power. Pan paper was under receivership. It had not functioned for about 12 years. It was just a machine there. People were looking at it. It was there for sentimental reasons. And when you are something is under receivership, it means Pan paper owed banks a lot of money. The banks wanted to recover their money. When you take a loan, for example, you take a loan in a bank and you give your land as collateral, as what's it called? Yes, collateral, for example, collateral, and you don't honor the loan, they sell it. So Pan paper was owed banks, ADB, Kenya Commercial Bank, all these wanted to get back their money. That's why they said now to recover our money, because our money cannot just go like that, let's sell Pan paper. It was put 3 times in the papers, in the national tender, and that's how Rai ended up buying Pan paper. So our people are saying, open papers. But how was it helping us? People are even saying the county government should have bought it. To do what with pan paper? First of all, there was no money in the budget to buy pan paper. So that's how pan paper, it was a private company, it was under receivership. So people were just looking at it for sentimental reasons. Now, we are talking about the airstrip here. Next. The airstrip, actually, when did an aircraft land there last? In your own memory?
It's not very recent.
It's not very recent. So the encroachment and the developments around the airstrip have dictated that it was no longer viable. And that's why Kenya Airports Authority, who are the owners of that airstrip, degazetted it, decommissioned it, and said now they want to do something else. And that's why they have come up with a smart city. Because that's, if you have your land, you can decide what to do with that land. You can sell it, you can do blah, blah. So it belongs to the national government. So when I heard some people saying that I have grabbed that the governor has grabbed, Wetangula has grabbed, that is misinformation. Now they are putting up the smart. And in most, you have traveled from what you have told me. You are very widely traveled. Most airports or airstrips are never in the cities. They are normally away. If you go to Jomo Kenyatta, it's in Machakos County. If you go to Amsterdam, if you go to Netherlands where I studied, Schiphol Airport is very far away from Amsterdam. So now the decision we have made here is that Matulo, which has more land, we are even buying more land, becomes that we now transfer the airport to go there. Already, there's a lot of development. That's why we did the runway. We are going to do 200 meters additional both sides so that Skyward, who have already come, inspected the place and say they are ready to bring their aircraft so that they can now land there. So that's where the airstrip is going to go. Nzoia. People are saying now we have sold Nzoia, or Nzoia has been sold. Nzoia was making losses throughout. The national government was pumping in money, but people were just pocketing that money. Some of the people were talking loudly. And I said this, when there was a task force that went round. When Eugene Wamalwa was the Minister for Devolution, Oparanya was the chairman COG, and Wangamati was also a governor. Nyang' Nyong'o was a governor. They went round and asked people, what do you want us to do with these people? And it was unanimous that governments cannot run sugar industries. The governments must get out, privatize. In fact, the idea was privatization. So what happened? The leasing model was an improvement of privatization because they didn't want it to go the Mumias way. And that's why now Nzoia was leased out. As we speak now, the current operator, that's right, has refurbished the factory. It took 6 months to put a new machinery and all that. It's now crushing 3,000 tons of cane per day, and the farmers are being paid after 7 days. That's the way Nigeria is operating. And people are beginning to see. You see, what was happening in my host is that, people were using politics. There was too much politics in Nzoia instead of looking at the farmer. Because for me, as the governor, I want my farmers paid. I want when the cane is cut, and the workers are also paid. What now Nzoia is grappling with is now the government is to pay those who are there to be paid their arrears, which have accumulated and we have been pushing. The farmers also still have some little arrears, but most of them have been paid. Because again, there seemed to be a game where people are saying, oh, we have delivered cane, we want to get. So what I'm going to do is, because there's been a lot of talk, is to tell the genuine farmers to come. Tell me how much you supplied, how much are you owed, so that we can now compare with what the records say. Because I'm privy to information, the records are indicating ghost farmers who want to be paid are not there.
But want to get, okay.
Yes, want to get that.
You want to use it as an advantage.
Yes. Okay. But now,
also comes
with a lot of those kind of things. But at the end of the day, I can assure you that those who vilified us will one day say we made the right choice to have Nzoia be run in a private manner. Because I was asking myself, when farmers in Nigeria, you probably come from those areas, farmers in Nigeria are smiling every Saturday. After 7 days, Safaricom talks to you, check at night, your money has come there. So when the Weighbridge, the Weighbridge for Nigeria is in Namanjalala in Trans Nzoia. Yeah. So when Rai was doing that, and I mean in Nigeria, he's an investor. When he comes to Nzoia, he's called an Indian. And India mekuja, we shall chase him away. So
there is a reason to giving out the way it was given out.
Yes,
was not the only option, was it?
It was. You see, That was the best option in the circumstances. Because, and why is it that, the noise is only coming from Zoya? Chemelil Chemelil went the same route. Sony went the same route. Miwani went the same route. How come it's only in Zoya that
Because we want to see politics in the.
Because politics. We are just politics about this thing and not helping the farmer. And the people who are making the loudest noise are not even farmers. They don't even grow guavas or even mangoes. But
leave alone sugarcane.
Leave alone sugarcane. These are the ones who are making a lot of noise. The real farmers. And if you be the real farmers, they will tell you now. They do not care. They do not care who runs the place. What they care most is, am I being paid for my cane? When my cane is cut, is it being picked on time? Because right now there are a bit of challenges that it's taking a bit longer to do what? To pick sometimes the cane when it has been cut. And those are some of the things that we want to improve on, so that when the cane is cut, it's picked immediately, and then the farmer is paid on time and the workers are paid.
There is an element of what was making losses. The bulk of what was making losses is actually the 12,000 acres of land Zoya had.
Yes.
So what is privatized? The whole land, like the machinery?
Yes, the whole land, the nucleus. It's all leased out, because you can't just lease the machinery. And you see now, in fact, right now what's happening is now they are developing the nucleus, so that the nucleus is supposed to maintain the factory in case there's a shortage of cane by the farmers, the farmers who are contracted to the factory.
Yeah. So the idea that you are clearing things on the shelf is not.
No. Let me tell you, our people only miss you when you are gone. But when you are there, they will really vilify you. They will say all manner of things. They will make lies look like the truth. And like I always say, truth travels 1,000 kilometers when truth is still preparing to take off. So somebody will just come and say, Lusaka has taken the airstrip. Oh, because Lusaka has sold in Zoya. When you ask him how much, he has no idea. It's just rumors that they are collecting on the streets here. If you want Bungoma to become a city, how are you going to become a city without coming up with things like smart cities that is happening in Eldoret, that is happening in other places? So if you are just opposing everything that is coming up, our thing is going, our land is going, Zoya is being sold. In any case, the people who suffered most were my clansmen. They are the ones who are compensated, the Batecho clan. And then they went to Chalija. So it says, this was our land. Whose land was it?
Oh, so you're Batecho. I'm higher.
I'm Batecho.
Let's look at it this way.
Right.
Developing a city, like Bungoma into a city, follows very many patterns.
Yes.
The expansion of Bungoma actually, from the way I've been looking at it, it just gained a life of its own.
Yes.
What's in the works from the planning department, your administration? Because if you let that one lapse right now, we're going to blame you. You didn't plan.
No, we have planned. We have planners. Some of these.
Of course, the dwelling of the road. It may have been. They may have had a store around it, but then the dwelling of the road may have had dividends. Why can't we extend the dwelling past Kibabi so that we can also improve the real estate in those areas?
That is a work in progress. It can be done. We're not saying that the dwelling, that's the end of the dwelling. We're just saying that whoever did it was the wrong person. It should have been done by the right government, the national government. During my time, you remember, I did the Lusaka Road. And the Namuyemba, those are bypasses. If you don't want to go to Kandui, you go like that, and then go decongests also Kandui and the town. So that was the way I looked at it. Whoever came next said, let's dual the road. And what you are saying is also an idea that work in progress that can be done. It's a progressive thinking.
Yeah, and then the story that came up around that time on Lusaka Road and Namuyemba Road was, why didn't you make them one-way road so that you beautify the place instead of just placing a road? It could have been one way coming in and one way going out, rather than the way it is.
Do you know why?
Because it's also very slow.
Let me tell you, that was a footpath.
Yeah.
So appreciate where it came from. It was a footpath. From a footpath to a road, from that a Maram road, from a Maram road, I put then tarmac. Then now tarmac, what you are now saying is something that I was even taken to court for putting up that Lusaka road. They said, I was taken to court by some MCS. So our people are very difficult. Let me tell you. Even working in Bungoma is the most difficult. Even when I bought 32 acres of land, where now they are putting up affordable housing, my idea then, that was first of all, it was very difficult to get 32 acres in one piece. My idea was to put up the headquarters there, it was like a one-stop for government business. I was taken to court. Otherwise, Bungoma would have been among the first counties to build an administration block, to build a residence for the governor, for the deputy governor, and all offices will be in one place. Can you imagine that did not take place? I was taken to court. I don't know whether the case ended or know where it is. They took me to EACC. So here, unless you just put on a brave face and continue working and give vision, go to the direction you want to go, you can never move. Everything will be taken to court.
Let's end the conversation by talking about the Ruto re-election. Yes. We are not talking about your re-election because you are going away from good.
Yes.
Every time you are on that campaign, Bungoma suffers your absence.
No, let me tell you. Maybe I've been in management for more than 37 years. Physical presence plays a very little role in terms of development. Once you have structures working, and that's why management is getting work done through people. Once you have structures working, it does not mean that you have to physically be there. If the hospital is working, I'm not a doctor to go injecting people. Mm-hmm. If roads are being done, I'm not going to the grader to do that. In any case, this Ruto re-election thing just started about 2 months, in fact, about a month ago, and we are doing it, say, over the weekend. So most of the other days, I'm around here. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the approval rating for the president is very low. Countrywide.
Where? How?
I'm telling you.
Who says that? No. This I don't know where. I don't know where you belong.
No.
From your discussion, you look like you are the one-term team.
Are you a one-term team?
No, I'm two-term. I'm the one leading the campaign for two-term.
Good. So let me finish the question. If the approval rating is low, and you want to be associated with that, do you think you are not shooting yourself in the leg?
No, let me tell you. When you start running, you could appear to be slow, but you pick up. The race is just starting, my brother. We're just starting. And in fact, you have not given me the approval rating and by who and where because you have not shown me any statistics to show that the rating is low. This is just rumors on the streets, people say. But I can tell you that things are beginning to happen. Things are beginning to change. Like I said, when President Ruto started, yes, it was a bit painful to most people because he had to some measures were a bit punitive for us to improve. Just the way if you want to eat an egg, if you want to eat an omelette, you must break an egg. So there had to be a bit of pain. Or if you are sick and you want to be well, you must get an injection. There's some pain that you will realize, but eventually you grow. So that is why I'm saying that things are now beginning to move. And we are saying, now look at the infrastructure. The roads that were not working, they are now there. Affordable housing are now there. Share had initial problems, but it's also now working. So there are a lot of these things, and as we go forward, I'm telling you by June, July, you will see the conversation begin to change. Because now, when they have started working, you see that our people keep changing goalposts. Well, now affordable houses are coming up. They are saying no, but it's very expensive to build the houses. They are now changing goalposts because they say they will not take off, even when the roads are.
You see, I'm avoiding to go into the affordable housing because there is a whole lot of issues that we need clarification on.
Yes.
We may need to look for an audience with you again to talk about it.
Yes.
But I'm trying to look at so far, it's 3 years. Like when we were having a bash here, Madaraka Day bash, the June 1st.
Yes.
The president promised that the army would stay around to finish the Kandui Stadium, but then they moved away again. So there are a number of things that you are getting associated with, driving, being the regional coordinator for the Ruto campaign, and every time we look at it, we see the Ruto promise, which now compounds with you did some promises which we didn't see you talk about. So we are wondering, are these people just promising things?
No, because you see, I want you to be very specific. Ruto promised that he will do Matulo airstrip. My role was to buy land, which we have put money in the budget to buy.
Okay.
He promised the Sangalo Dorof Road, which the contractor is now is ongoing. He promised to do something at Sangalo National Polytechnic. They are just on the final stages. The Musikoma Mungats Road, the contractor is also on site working. Sikata Road, towards Sikata to Kimilili, Bokoli, the contractor is also on site working on those. So I want you to tell me, there are promises that he had made, financial promises. I came with over 30 million to give to the institutions he had promised, all of them. So I want you to tell me something that he promised that he has not delivered in Bungoma.
Yeah, but you see, we still look at things. For example, how long will it take? Like the timelines for the Kandui market, the passport.
When were you there last?
The last time we were told the market would be opening. No, it's not opening.
No, it's not. We were not told it was opening. The market is the time frame is still. We're still within the time frame.
What was happening in October last year?
No. Chebukube, that in October, you can't do a market in 3 months. The Chebukube market, the Chwele market, the Mateka market, the Naitiri market, it's supposed to go on in Cape Tais and Cape Sigon, Luandanyi, I've mentioned Mateka. All those are upcoming. And we are saying, the president has only done 3 years, the way that we have rightly put it. People want to compare him with the people who were there for 10 years. It's just 3 years. And I've asked you specifically, tell me what he promised in Bungoma that he has not delivered, or that he will not deliver by that time. And part of my role is to push the president, to remind him that, you see, this is what you said about Bungoma, this is what you said about Vihiga, and this is not happening. That is my role. That's why I came with all the money that he promised. Now, where he promised money, I delivered. And I want also to use this opportunity, because there's one member of parliament, specifically for Sirisia, who has been going around saying that I appointed myself, that nobody appointed me. I am not a mad person.
You're not a mad person, Your Excellency.
Yes, I
But
was.
then there is something which you need to understand.
Yes.
When we open our eyes and we see you,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
We see you representing the government.
Yes.
That for some reason, we don't know why we hate it. We don't know why we don't approve for it. But one thing we look at is, Kandui is not done yet after the promise that we will be.
Kandui Stadium is 90% complete. The canopy has been put. Okay? The chairs are here. We are waiting for the canopy to be put, so that then we put the chairs, because we didn't want the chairs to be rained on. Actually, as we speak, the chairs are here.
Yes, so it's not done. That's the question.
But it's going to be done. By the time before elections, the Kandui Stadium will be done. And that's why I was asking you, show me, election is next year, 2027. And that's why I'm telling you that I want you to be specific that the president promised this in Bungoma, it has not happened yet, or it will not happen by the time we go to elections. And that's why the role that I'm playing, to tell our people that, you see, this is what we are going to gain, or our president made this promise, has it delivered or not? That's my work, what I'm following up. And what I'm telling you that, there are things that are happening.
Okay, let's look at the infrastructure. When you guys came into power, when Ruto came into power in 2022, the issue of the SGR via Malabo Bungoma, then it was altered to include Kisumu. Then there is talk about the dualing of this highway.
Yes.
Which is actually an overdue conversation we need to be looking at. Can you for certain tell us that it will be done before 2027?
I don't know the time frame, but he has not said it. He did say it must be done by 2027, but at least it is work in progress. You see, once it starts coming, we'll be sure that that work is going to continue. And that's where we are saying, some of these things may go beyond the electoral cycle of 5 years. That's why we are saying that let's give the President Ruto a second term to be able to complete those that will not have been completed. Continuity really matters. Even Kibaki, when he was given 10 years, that's when he completed the dual carriage. So we are also saying, let's give the President 2 terms so that he's able to complete what will not have been completed by 2020. In any case, 5 years are a very short time, you can realize. Even me, when I was there the first 5 years, I used to the first 2 years trying to put structures in place. Then the 2 years you are now trying to implement after what you have planned. Then 1 year you get into elections. So 5 years is a very short time, and that's why we're saying that if Ruto is given 2 terms, just like the rest of the other presidents have been given, have served 2 terms, he will be able to deliver all those things.
There are a number of questions, actually 3 questions that I have here. The viewers are desirous that you respond to them. Let's begin with the story at the Senate. The Christmas tree. It's a tree, cypress tree.
Let me tell you, people, that's why I'm telling you that people like lies and over dramatizing things. First and foremost, that thing of the Christmas tree was 2019. 2019 was the governor in Bungoma. It was Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati. This Lusaka talking to you was the Speaker of the Senate. And that's why the narration when we were in Senate was wrong. Because the impressed warrant, if you look at the impressed warrant, it indicated, and Wycliffe Wangamati came out and said clearly, that money was spent by the county assembly, by MCS who went to Mbale for benchmarking. So why somebody would want to tie it on Lusaka? And even when we tried, that's why the way we're having with the Senate now. When my county actually wanted to explain and tell them it is what you are reading is wrong, they refused. The chairman refused. And that's why I insisted and said, look at the year that you are talking about. It was 2019. 2019, I was not the governor here. Mimi, I've never had any Christmas tree thing. That Christmas tree thing used to be the local authorities, the mayor's tree and all that. When I came in, I never had it. So that story is just sensationalizing. And that's why we have said we want to have a discussion with the senators, because they're also not being fair. When something, even a slight mistake is made, they sensationalize because they are bloggers there who want to blow everything out of proportion. Okay, I think so. That's clear.
There is an element to do with education. You talked about bursaries to be a national government arrangement. But from the time you were there in the first term and this is the second term, we still don't have the exact numbers of Bungoma beneficiaries of those bursaries, national government or not. At least in your position, you need to have gotten numbers to know how many people are deserving and how many of them have.
Actually, I formed a task force, and that's where immediately I came in my second term. You realize that as we went to the 2022 elections, they increased the bursary from and the scholarship from 5,000 students to 12,000, which was not sustainable. That's when I came in, I formed a task force to establish who are these beneficiaries. That's what I was telling you when we checked, and I have the record. In fact, there's a forensic audit which was ordered by the Senate. When we did that, we realized that all the beneficiaries were not people who are not deserving. Some were ghosts, some had left school. We are sending money to a school where students already completed school and left. So there was a bit of mismanagement of the bursary and the scholarship. But I have all the records. If I knew, I would have brought it here for you to.
So that intervention saved the county?
Yes, it saved the county a lot of money. I can't tell you overhead, but it saved the county a lot of money because, first of all, some students were given promissory notes. There was no money. So when we went to the schools, you realize they said, let the student learn, because it was politicized at the end of it all. But it saved the county money. Next time I come here, I'll come with the records, because I have the records.
On a follow-up quick question on that is, this is now my desire. Why don't we have a scholarship arrangement where students in Bungoma can be able to compete for that? And it will eliminate politics from that, because these are bright students who can be able to compete for the first 100 scholarships with the county government can be able to pay.
You know what I'm saying first and foremost, why the control of budget stopped the whole thing of national scholarship and bursary, because she argued that this is not a devolved function. This is a function for the national government. That's why you find the MPs are giving scholarship and bursaries, banks are giving, everybody was giving. So we're saying, why can't the county government focus on its co-mandate, ECD and TVETs. And now if you want to continue the bursary, you have to enter into an arrangement. Some counties are doing that. Enter into an arrangement with the national government to be able now to give scholarships and bursaries. But I agree with you that it should be competitive, so that it doesn't become political.
Because a scholarship is not it's not like bursary.
Yeah.
You determine that there's so many schools we have in Bungoma County. We are subjecting this
You have to pass. If you pass this, you are competing for 100 spaces,
Correct.
of which you'll be able to pay for them, either in high school or in college, so that we can be able to support that kind of...
I agree with you that, for scholarship, it must be for bright students.
Yes.
Very bright students, so that it doesn't deal with everyone. Bursary will deal with everyone, even those who have gotten low marks, but then they need to be boosted. So I agree with you that it needs to be competitive, it needs to be looked at, and again the conversation that is going on is that all these things, if it was properly coordinated even by the national government, we can actually have free education. Free education, because you don't need this business. Bursaries being politicized and all that kind of thing. All this money can be coordinated and the national government takes over and pays.
Okay.
Yes.
I think there's one more question here.
But
They're talking about
water.
Water. They're talking about water because we're saying, just one line. What is happening? You talked about water projects that are happening.
Yes.
But then between December and February, most areas in Bungoma don't have clean water. Has that been a concern to you?
It's been a concern, and that's why the Quaker water that has come up to Kibabi, we want to do what is called the last mile distribution. The last mile is now to get into the town. And that's going to be very consistent, because that's the water that's going to now save us.
That is the urban setting.
Yes.
But then the rurals, you see, rurals are suffering because every time between December and February, most rural areas don't have clean water.
Yeah, but we have moved from, when I came in, the percentage was about 23% coverage. We are now getting to about 49 coverage of water. It's a huge improvement, and that's why I'm saying that once the Quaker 3 is done, it will now cover the entire area that Tongareni, that Webuye East, the Webuye West. People should be able to get water. Once that is done, we'll now ensure we get the last mile where people now can get the water. But again, I want to appeal to our people. The biggest challenge, our people still believe in free things. You see, you must also be able to pay something so that we maintain this water. But you put there, people go remove meters, they remove whatever, they say this water must be free, they vandalize. If they're told to pay, they go and now cut the pipes, and they want to get free things. So we want
Lusaka.
No, we want to continue the conversation. We want to continue doing what it's called. There's a term I want to use. We want to continue sensitizing them, to sensitize them to understand that for you to get this clean water, for it to be maintained, we need to co-share. The government is giving you this much, this is what it's paying, but also pay something kidogo for the meter for you to be able to get clean water.
Sensitizing is the word. You see, most of the things the county administration will do, but it doesn't come to light. Or maybe we choose not to follow what the communication department at the county will be able to put out there for reasons which we need to be motivated to follow. So let's just follow what's happening at the county government, led by His Excellency Ken Lusaka. We'll be watching to see this progress. He's just promised sensitization. We'll be watching the news. Okay, they will be giving us information. We'll be able to share with you guys. We'll be watching the politics, and most importantly, we'll be watching the receipts, because 2027 is coming, and we'll never say Lusaka again. So we want to make sure those receipts are.
I would say something. Maybe I hope you are concluding.
Yes, I'm concluding. Just you can have the last one.
I wanted to say this, that to reassure the people of Bungoma that I'll do what is humanly possible to deliver on what I promised. For the remaining part of my time, I will have legacy projects that I've talked about. I also wanted to use this opportunity to clarify, because the MP for Serisia has been moving around. He was on everywhere saying we self-appointed ourselves. I think I want to appeal to our leadership. When we are talking, because people talk about Luya unity when it's only them, for other people to serve them, and say let us unite. It's contradictory to be standing in forums to say, let us unite as lawyers. And yet when one of your own is given an assignment, a task, you start fighting that person. That is not the lawyer unit that you're talking about. You are an embodiment of contradiction. Because unless it is you, then there's no lawyer unit. For example, he has been saying we have appointed ourselves. I cannot appoint myself to lead a presidential campaign. It's the president who told me to coordinate these activities, and he's the one who is facilitating us. Otherwise, have you seen me sell Lusaka land to go to Vihiga, or to go to Trans Nzoia, or to go where? So let us learn to appreciate when your own brother has been given a task, find out. And even we were with him. when he is doing whatever he's doing, nobody's interfering with what he's doing. Let us all pull together. If our objective is one, to support William Ruto to win, nobody has denied you from also playing your role wherever you are. But don't be so bitter that Lusaka is the one who has been given that task to do that. And in the case, why are other areas not complaining? It's only in Bungoma that we are complaining. So we should either talk about Luya unity when we mean what we say and say what we mean, or just shut up.
So you can say, well, look at Tawe. On behalf of all the team that must make this show successful, led by Kevin Kibet, please, I want to read your comments on social media, and whenever you're on social media, please share, like, and subscribe. See you next week on Tuesday. This is CKS.